Hey friends, Gene Perry here with the Freehands Academy. Thanks for tuning in. Today is the second part of my 4-part series on Temple Audio pedal boards, and today I'm looking at some of these awesome mods. Let's check it out. All right, thanks again for tuning in. Today is the second part of a 4-part series on Temple Audio pedal boards. Today I'm going to focus a little bit more on the modules. There's so many awesome ones, and we'll look at some of the differences that I've observed over the years in using their products. In the third session, we'll look at my pedal board for the Chapman stick, which was done professionally by Kathy over at Tone Zone LA. And then finally, we'll take apart and put together my NS pedal board and all the fun we'll have with that. All right, let's talk mods for the Temple Audio pedal board. I've got 5 in front of you here. The buffer mod, 2 iterations of the sum mod, and 2 iterations of the more evolved 4X mod. And the first one we'll look at is the buffer mod. So this one is unique. They don't make it anymore. And what was unique about this one is that you could control whether it was coming in or out, as well as whether you were turning the buffers on or off. And so this unit became it was a part of the pedal board that became part of the pedal chain. It's fascinating, right? And so it's so nice because it fits so snugly underneath the board. And so it does have a lot of integrity to it. So things aren't sliding around like if it was in the first pedal of your pedal chain. Oftentimes that gets kicked around. No more. Along comes the buffer mod and changes all of that. There's the sum mod. So the sum mod is kind of the first iteration of this pedal. And so the sum mod, let me see if I get a close up on this. Sum mod, like the buffer mod, takes a 50 milliamps. So you are going to have to power it up. And then it kind of explains what it does on the side here, you know. And it also mentions Matthew effects, which I guess does a lot of work with Temple Audio. And I remember talking to Cass over at Temple Audio about this, and he was so excited because he knew I played the Chapman stick, and he's like, "Do you know what this means?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, Cass. You know, that's really great. Good job." And after having worked with these pedal boards for like the past 6 or 7 years, I realized how fantastic this was for me as a Chapman stick player, because I can run 2 signal paths and play mono when I want, or I can run it dual mono, so I could separate out the bass and melody side when I want it. So fantastic. And so I do believe in this module, it was kind of fixed as to which side would actually be bridged. So I think it was the red side. That's why they made the differentiation in the color. So some mod, super cool. Oh, really quickly, let's weigh it. I'm going to weigh it. See if I can get a close up of this. So I think that the sum mod weighs a little bit less. So I'll probably use, the empirical measurements here. It's 3.4 ounces, right? There's our metric. And then the sum mod V2 weighs in, what about like 10% more, 5% more, something between there. There's our metric measurement. So the sum mod V2 I had to wait a little while for. And I remember I bought the buffer mod because I couldn't wait for the sum mod V2. And I remember Cass talking about this as well. Now this one has a small link input. And so I actually don't know what that is. So you see just to the right of the power area right there where power comes in, there's this link input. I don't know what that does. So another change I think in the sum mod V2 is that you'll see that both these are red, which means you can use and bridge either side. So you can have 2 signal chains into one, or you can have 1 signal chain into 2 outputs. So it doesn't matter which side you use, right? So you can run it out of the right side or the left side, it doesn't matter. Not the case with the sum mod, right? So if you're out there on eBay, on Reverb, and you're buying stuff, just something to remember. What else? We've got the 4-way jack module. So this unit's a pretty integral, like if you get one module, right, this is the one to get. This is the one you want to get. So this brings in your instrument, and this is where it sends out. Now, what's really fantastic about this is that this is TRS. So this will take a TRS cable in, and then you can split it out. So what does that look like? Imagine this. You've got a TRS cable coming in, right? Here, right? So your TRS is coming in, but then you can split it after it comes in. Right? So if you're a Chapman stick player, you know what that looks like. It means is it comes in and then you can split it right from the board there, which means you don't have to use a TRS to dual TS cable. Right? I don't want to do that. I want a really solid feeling TRS to TRS cable. The final iteration of that particular, the 4-way patch module became the 4X mod, which just sounds so much more sexy. I had to have one. And something else that I noticed in this particular module is that if you look closely here, let's see, you'll see that they've got markings on to number your channels like they do on the front, right? So the older ones, they only have it on one side. So that's out of focus, right? So you don't see it there. But, you know, the rocket scientists over at Temple Audio did determine that, hey, why don't we put it there so that when you're up and underneath your board, you know, you're looking at the same channels. So just a fantastic use of this. Also, they've put some really great instructions on there, like they did with the SumMod V2. So if you look at this, they tell you a little bit about it. Right? I'm trying to get that towards the middle, struggling, right? Kind of tells you how you can use it, how you can use the 4-way jack, and that you can use it with TRS, right? Because I didn't even know that at first. So now I know. There's crazy things going on over at Temple Audio. They're going to make a module that's actually a 100-watt amp. So those are on pre-sale now at like Sweetwater and Guitar Center. So that's a pretty cool feature to look forward to. It's got like 3-band EQ, and I think it has stereo ins and stereo outs. So I'll be excited to see what that looks like. In the final episode, or the final part of this episode, I want to show you some kind of ways that I use TRS, and I'll see if I can make a little room here for this. Ways that I've used TRS on my pedal boards that would have otherwise been very challenging to do without this Temple Audio system. So the first is to use it as an output for expression. So the idea is that I didn't really want an expression pedal on the board. I've got a looper, and so the looper has a TRS out that allows you to start and stop the loop. And so as you can see, there's not a lot of space on this pedal board for anything other than just cables on the top. So that was a really nice feature. So I ran TRS out from here, and then I was able to kind of leverage that 4-way X mod jack on the side to start and stop the looper. So that's a big plus. The other option that I liked having it for is just being able to run, you know, a TRS to TRS cable. So that was the best part for me, because I didn't want to use TRS to TS because sometimes it feels kind of flimsy. And as the cables start to separate, it starts to feel like there's just less integrity with the cable. You can get a little scratchy if you're moving around at all. So another big plus for instruments that have 2 signal paths, you know, hooray, you've got TRS to TRS, and so it's a more solid cable. So it feels like a better fit. And I think that's about it in terms of everything that I wanted to cover with ins and outs. There are a number of different jacks that I didn't get to. Maybe we can do that in a future session, but for right now, that's as much as I've got for you on Temple Audio ins and outs. I hoped that you enjoyed it. If you did, Be sure to like the video, leave a comment. If you know what that little link input is on the Sunmod V2, I'd be so curious to know. And thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for your comments. Cheers and take care.